Once we realize the freedom that the gospel brings, because we're finding our acceptance and our purpose and our security, our value, our significance in God through Christ alone, we can look throughout our city and find places where people are looking for their acceptance, for their security. Our job as believers is to get together and declare God's glory to one another, to declare the gospel and make sure we're finding our freedom in the gospel, but then to scatter into the world and help people find their freedom as they go.
We're standing here in front of my house. This is the neighborhood I live in, and what I've realized as I've lived here the last couple of years, there are people from one end of the street to the other that are finding their identity in things other than Christ. They look at their houses, they look at their families, they look at their cars, and they think all these things are going to bring them happiness. And what I'm realizing here is that Christ wants to set them free from that. And so there are believers that live in the street and there are unbelievers, and I need to declare the gospel to the believers to let them see the glory and the goodness of God and what He's given us in Christ. And then the unbelievers, I want to show them the beauty of the gospel, that Christ has come to set them free from the bondage of finding their identity and their purpose and their value and these things that truly aren't going to satisfy them. And as a believer here, as someone who wants to declare the gospel to people, I want to see them set free. And so I want to build relationships with people. I want to take walks in my neighborhood. I want to get to know people. I want to stop and have conversations and just make sure that I'm having time for people. I'm not always in a hurry. I don't want it to just be a wave at people as they go to work and then see them when they come back home. I want to get to know their families, and it doesn't take any more time. It doesn't take a ton of effort. It's not like this burdensome feeling. It's just getting to know people and letting the gospel come out through us. And so that's what I want to do in this neighborhood. That's what I want to make Christ known. I want to see this street set free from the bondage of their idolatry.
As I'm a student and I'm going to school every single day, I see people who are looking for their acceptance in things like getting a test done, or getting as much study time as they need in, or pleasing their teachers and making them happy, or whatever they're needing to do. And I see myself as living on a mission every single time I go to school, simply sharing the gospel with them and showing them how their acceptance doesn't come from getting a certain test grade or getting something done, but it comes from Jesus alone.
Here we are standing in front of a fire station. You might be wondering what this has to do with living on mission and declaring the gospel to people. Well, I think one of the best ways to do that is by bringing cookies and good snacks to your local firemen. Just kidding. And this is where we get money. This is where we are able to provide for our families. But what if we stop seeing this place or your job as where you found your security? What if your security didn't come from your money, but it came from God alone through what Christ has done for us? That's what we want to tell people. So many people are going to their jobs thinking, I need to work so many hours, I need to earn so much money. And while that's a good thing, we want to provide for our families. We don't want our hope to be here. We want our hope to be in Christ. Eventually, this is going to fail them. Their money is going to fail them. Anything that they get from here is going to fail them, and they need to find their security in Christ alone.
Every time you go to the mall, you see people who are trying to find their acceptance and their value in things like the latest Apple iPhone or the new perfume line at Sephora. And when I come here, I just want to pray for these people and pray that they will be free from finding their acceptance there and find their acceptance instead in Christ.
We're here in front of the grocery store. It's a place we all go to. But what if we stopped thinking of the grocery store as a place we go to get food, but we started thinking of going to the grocery store because we're missionaries? And so we walk in there with that mentality of, I'm here to proclaim the gospel. I'm here to show people the bondage that they're in. That sounds like a daunting task. But it's really just getting to know people. It's listening to their stories. The grocery stores that I go to, I know people in all of them. I know their names. I know their stories. I've listened to, what they have to say about their kids. And it takes a long time. This isn't a 1 week kind of thing. It's been years of going to the same people, of purposely going into the same lines and seeing the same checkers. And I know that I'm not here because I need food. I know I'm here because people need the gospel. Everywhere we go, we can see ourselves as missionaries, and that includes coming to the grocery store.
This kept getting bigger.